I'm Ted McIntyre, doing a video for Friends of Crimea, the media campaign. Crimea here has been an issue since, I believe, the 1950s. So to get context about this situation, you need to go back at least that far, if not hundreds of years, to understand what the relationships have been between Crimea, Russia, the Ukraine region, the country of Ukraine. If you start with an understanding of the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022, or let's just say Crimea since 2014, you don't have enough context to have an intelligent conversation or intelligent thoughts about what's going on. Whatever your source of media is, if it doesn't go back to at least 2014 and prior, when talking about Russia, Ukraine, and Crimea, Moscow and Kiev and Washington, you don't have enough context. And I'll leave it at that. If for me to go into more of my thoughts on this, it would be not a 4 or 5 minute video, but it would be a 40 or 50-minute video. And just about everything that I've seen and that concerns me has been covered by other people. Other topic that Regis has asked me to include in these types of videos, the economic situation in the United States and around the world. And what I consider to be a big issue, maybe the biggest issue, is that we're encountering something that happens every couple of hundred years, which is a global sovereign debt default. Ever since World War II, and definitely since the 70s and 80s, the US and other countries, but the US has been a big leader, has been spending more than they can afford. And this is just accumulating for decades and decades. And it's gotten to the point now where there's tens of trillions of dollars in debt. And there's no intention to pay any of those debts back. And there's literally hundreds of trillions of dollars in sovereign debt that's just going to be defaulted on. And this is the fault and the problem of poor financial management by each government in their spending. But what I think the US government and all the NATO governments are doing is they're using the hostilities on the Ukraine-Russia border, and they're going to use that as an excuse for defaulting on Western debt, maybe worldwide debt, blaming Russia, blaming China to the extent that they can, and then going for a reset. And there's going to be a lot of wealth destruction in that process. Other questions that Regis has posed about national security. I actually am a retired US Air Force officer. I spent 2 decades as an officer. National security is, for at least half a century back to the time of Eisenhower and his famous military-industrial congressional complex speech that he made while he was still president of the United States, early 1960s, was beware. And that warning has not been heeded until now. And look at the problems it's created. And so I am an advocate for human security. Now, what is human security? So what I often do is I will go to the United Nations Development Program 1994 definition of human security. With national security, it's about providing security for the nation, borders, troops, weapons, but where is that appropriate balance point? Human security is all about providing for the individuals, small groups, larger groups, all the way up to every member of the nation and the world, economic security, an assured basic income or a way to make economic inputs, food security, availability of healthy food and clean water, health security, minimum protection from disease and unhealthy lifestyles, Environmental security, protect people from short and long-term ravages of nature, man-made threats in nature, and deterioration of the natural environment. Personal security, protecting people from personal violence. Community security, to protect people from the loss of traditional relationships and values. And then political security, so each and every individual and group live in a society that honors their basic human rights, and they have some basic representation or in their community, a voice in their community. So from 1994 until the present, which has just been 3 decades, this is a new paradigm for looking at how we allocate resources and how we handle security for humans in our world. Not just national security, but also a balance between national and human security.